came crashing down. All around this empty town, I'm searching for the lost and found. But you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air, like a blazing flare. Just stare, cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me. Oh, you meant the world to me.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Alpha family, ADT Nation, back in the house. What's up and what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and happy money. Joey, I got you. Tuesday, all right? It's not Monday. I woke up feeling like it was Monday. Yesterday was such an amazing day inside of chats, inside the market. I woke up and wanted to repeat exactly what we did yesterday. So I was saying Monday for like the first 2 hours. Money Tuesday. Good morning once again. What's up? What's going on? I hope you guys are having a wonderful morning. I hope you guys have taken this opportunity to get prepared by looking at our morning stock newsletter, reviewing alerts chat. Again, I hope you guys are all set, ready to rock and roll. If not, I'm here to do that due diligence for you, to simplify everything, to help get you guys prepared for today's trading session. Before we dive into it, I want everybody hitting me with a big old good morning, ADT Nation. How we all doing today? Everybody on YouTube, how we doing as well? Joey, Steve, good morning. Mr. Danny, good morning as well, sir. How we all doing today? How we feeling? I hope you guys are fired up, ready to attack today's trading session, because I am fired up, ready to make it happen. Guys, a lot of opportunity in the market today. Lots of opportunity in the market, possibly for the small accounts, those main accounts, whatever you guys are doing. There is definitely some fantastic opportunity in the market. So I don't want to waste any time, and I want to go ahead and just dive right into our top stocks for the day. What are we looking at for equities? Maybe we got some great penny stocks today. And then what are we going to be looking at today for options as well? And we have a very nice watch list depending on what the market does. We could see a lot of great breakouts and a lot of great moves to the upside depending on what the SPY and the Qs do. But if we start to see that pullback, we have a lot of great short opportunities as well. So let's get you guys prepared for today's trading session. What stocks are we going to be keeping on watch, right? What are our top stocks for the day? Well, number one is going to be MEGL. Now, MEGL was a new IPO a couple of weeks ago that literally opened at $50 and it ripped all the way to almost $250. Just the dump all the way down towards around $9. Well, yesterday, the stock opens up around $8 and it rips all the way to nearly $18, closing at $17.73, just to rip on up towards around $24 this morning here in pre-market. This stock has a lot of hype. This stock has a lot of attention towards it. This stock could be something that goes to $50 to $80, back to $100. Guys, right now, this is where all of your focus should be. Now, for those of you saying, Josh, it's too expensive. No, it's not. The stock goes from $20 to $22. That's a 10% move. You have a $1,000 account and you were to take a trade and invest $1,000 at $20 and buy X amount of shares, and stock goes to $22 and you sell, you just made 10% on your investment, right? So yes, it's expensive, but the thing's moving 10, 20, 30% at a time. There's definitely great opportunity. Small accounts, medium accounts, large accounts. There is going to be opportunity here with MEGL. And this was one of yesterday's top gainers, right? Again, the stock goes from under 10 all the way up towards around that 1750 level. Again, gapping up, hitting pre-market highs of 24 bucks, right? And this is something that I definitely want to keep on high watch at this point in time, right? So where is going to be some of the best support, right? Well, $20, right? We came down, cracked below 20, very close to yesterday's spiking high. We bounced right back up above 20 and we held 20. So what we saw was a loss of $20, but we saw buyers come right back in, break back above $20. It regained 20 and buyers held it above 20, telling us that there is some buying interest and buying activity taking place right there at 20 bucks. So we definitely want to keep the stock on watch above $20. Okay, that's going to be a good little level of support here for MEGL. But if we do crack below 20 bucks and we start to pull back just a little bit more, where do I think the stock could come down to, but there still be opportunity for today? I would say back down towards around that 1740 to 1750 level, which was a lot of resistance from yesterday and was also a pullback level when we opened on up here this morning in pre-market. So ideally $20 to hold on up as support to get that next leg up back towards around 24, 25. But if we do open on up and we do come below 20, the stock's not dead. We could see it come down towards around that 1740, 1750, still hold on up today and still have a nice day behind it and still be some good opportunity, right? So definitely going to keep this on watch above 20 bucks at the start of the day, right? Again, if we crack below, you're coming down to 1740 to 1750. One thing I want to point out is after we got back above 20, we pulled back, we retested it beautifully. We did come through and broke the downtrend as well. So I want to keep the stock on high watch right at 930. What's the stock going to do? Is it going to open and rip? There could be great opportunity. There could be halt strategies. There could be something here right out of the gate, as we did just break above that downtrend, going from the bearish side back to the bullish side after breaking and retesting $20 as well. So far, looking really good to be one of our top stocks right out of the gate. And again, where could we see this stock go? Well, we have resistance here right around 23.63. Obviously, that spiking high of 24.48 is resistance, but our main level of resistance is $25. Now, team, if this stock ever breaks 25 bucks, there's a lot of room to the upside, right? The next target that I have here is going to be $50, which is the IPO open, right around 49 to 50 bucks. So yes, I just said that this stock could potentially get all the way up to $49. This stock has a lot of hype. We know it can run, but we also know it could dump on down. So right now, assuming that it holds on up, assuming it looks great today, and there are opportunities, yes, if this stock were to ever break $25, it could definitely get up towards around 49 to 50 bucks. So definitely want to keep MEGL on high watch. And right now at this point in time, it is my number one stock to be watching right out of the gate, guys. Okay, so run your downtrend, mark up your levels of support and resistance, and the next opportunity that we see, we'll build our plans, we'll get prepared, we'll attack the opportunity, and lock in some profits. Okay, so MEGL right now at this point in time is number one. Number two is going to be FRZA. I missed my own alert on this. I typed up the alert a couple of times. It's on high watch. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Have to step out of the office. I come back. It was a beautiful dip buy, right down to that 875, popped all the way up to 970, almost $1 on the dip buy. I missed my own alert. I missed my own trade. But if you guys grabbed it, congratulations. Well Done. All right. FRZA at this point in time is going to be number 2. Now, this was an IPO here on Friday, and the stock really didn't do too much. It just dumped and it faded, but now we're starting to move on up here in pre-market. So I definitely want to keep this one on watch because it is pretty consistent, right? It's honoring its technicals. It came down to the 875 and it bounced. It was a great dip buy opportunity on FRZA. So far we got pretty good volume, good consistency. It seems to be predictable. It's honoring its technicals. I definitely want to keep FRZA on watch today as well. Right now, I want to see it hold above 875, ideally, and then open on up and break this downtrend. So assuming, right, as long as we hold above 875 and we do indeed break this downtrend, I want to get long on the stock back up towards around 10 bucks. Now, if we do not hold above 875, if we do not break this downtrend, we sit back and we wait because we can see this thing pull back towards around 783 here on FRZA. All right, so right now your maker breaks 875 for a trade here in pre-markets or right out of the gates. We want to see 875 hold. We want to see buyers move in, push the stock through the downtrend. It break for the leg up to that pre-market high of $10. Okay, if we ever break 10 bucks today, we do have fantastic potential to $10.77. And if we ever see FRZA breaking that 1077, we do have some great potential to the IPO open right around 1390 to 14 bucks. So we could definitely see a nice big move today with FRZA. If we don't bounce off 875 and break the downtrend, it's okay. There could still be some opportunity today. We have potential to pull back and see if the stock can hold above 783. If it falls below 783, I'll probably just shift my attention elsewhere and replace this stock with something else that has better opportunity. But right now, it looks good. It's consistent. It's relatively predictable. Definitely want to keep this on watch right now at this point in time here in pre-markets above 875. If you ever break that downtrend, you could see a nice big rip and run up to 10, 1077, and then 1390 to 14 bucks. FRZA number 2. Right now, it's on high watch in pre-markets right at 930 as well. All right, I know some of you guys were talking about CEMI, and one thing that I want to point out about CEMI is it had a chance to stay above $1, and it had a chance to stay above its 200 SMA. It came right below $1, just with ease. It came right below the 200 SMA with ease. There were literally no buyers at that dollar area or that 104. If you expect the stock to move up, what do you need to see? Buyers. We saw this thing just completely dump on down below 2 good levels of support. $1 support, and then that 200 SMA. Right now, CEMI, I'm not a fan of it, guys. It was something we were watching for that possible daily gap fill, right? It could fill the gap. If it ever broke 125 and 135, we have potential to fill that daily gap at 155 here on CEMI. And this morning, CEMI had a little bit of a press release in regards to monkeypox, okay? So there was a reason. There was a catalyst. We have volume. Everything that we need to see a good moving stock for today. But after it broke that dollar and that 200 SMA, we wanted to see it try and bounce or bounce and hold above that dollar area, if not the 200 SMA at 104. And it came right down below, showing a lot of weakness. So right now at this point in time, I don't see any reason to be getting involved. However, if it does get back above 104, at any point today, it's trading above 104. We're definitely watching it because this stock has great potential to 124, 134, and then possibly filling that daily gap up towards around 155. But right now, we're going to take it from a top stock to watch. It is going to be a back burner until it can get back above at least that 200 SMA at 104. All right, so I'm going to take it off the top stock watch list, and it's going to the back burner watch list at this point in time. All right. Another top stock that I think we should be watching, I'm not crazy about it, but there is potential. That's going to be AMTD. So AMTD Group to inject $500 million worth of global portfolio of premium real estate assets located in major cities into AMTD Digital. We got a decent little press release here on AMTD. But one thing I want to point out is the last time this stock gapped up, it had a quick spike. It dumped on off. It gapped up. Quick spike. It dumped on off. This stock has been absolutely getting destroyed to the downside here on AMTD. So could the stock open on up and have a quick little spike out of the gate? Absolutely. But what have we seen consistently? Gap up, spike, give a lot back. Gap up, spike, give a lot back. Gap up, spike, give a lot back. It brings in a lot of traders in pre-market because it gaps up. There's a quick spike. But we can see recently, over the past few weeks, it likes to give a lot back. It's just something to be mindful of. At any point in time, you see more weakness than strength. You see more sellers than buyers, and you're long. And you're not really seeing that move and that break and that consistency. Just know that there is a high probability chance that the thing just fades on off and goes red today. But there's a couple reasons I like it. Not only do we have a press release, but it did just come down over the past probably week, and it held that daily gap level. It came down 1, 2, 3, 4 days, filled the gap, never cracked below it, and now we have a press release that's causing the stock to break over that 20 EMA and possibly go on its next leg up. So from a technical perspective, filling that gap, having a press release, being back above that 258 resistance looks good. But you still have to be mindful that the stock's notorious for giving a lot of those gains back. 258 bottom support at this point in time. That's going to be the 20 EMA as well as that spiking high. You can see we have a spiking high at 258. We have a candle open at 258, spiking high at 258. And then yesterday's high as well was 258. So you have multiple touches right around 258, and you have the 20 EMA right around 258 as well. So that's going to be one of our best levels of support here on AMTD, with top resistance at 331. Okay, if we ever break 331, we do have potential to 384. If we ever see that break over 384, we can go as high as 445 here on AMTD. Again, bottom support 258. You ever start cracking below 258, you're going to come back down towards around 215. So at any point in time, I see the stock below 258 coming off the watch list. There's not really going to be a lot of opportunity. But if we can hold above 258 and we see good buying, we see more strength than weakness, we absolutely could see the stock move back up to pre-market highs of 331, and then potentially to see that pre-market high break up towards around 384 and then 445. So definitely want to watch AMTD at this point in time to see what we do when we open on up. But AMTD definitely could have some movement behind it today. All right. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about MEGL. We already talked about MEGL. My bad. So we got MEGL. We discussed AMTD, definitely a top stock of the day. We discussed FRZA, definitely a top stock of the day. You have CEMI, that's a back burner. You got GBOX, that's a back burner. But there is another one that has potential today, but I don't know if it's really a top stock at this point in time because it looks like a better short than it does a long. But one thing I want to point out, because there's a lot of people watching BBBY, so I feel like I need to discuss this one. Not crazy about it, but if we ever break that downtrend on BBBY, go back to yesterday's high, connect the pre-market low, and then connect these lower highs here. Okay, run yourself a nice little downtrend on BBBY, and then go mark up yesterday's pre-market resistance at 1558, which is also support from yesterday as well. So if we ever break 1558, that would also be a break of this downtrend, going from the bearish side to the bullish side. Breaking resistance, it could turn as support. If we ever see BBBY trading above that 1558, there's a lot of great potential, guys. We could see this thing back up towards around the 1620s and then maybe back up towards around 1705. So if we ever see BBBY trading above 1558, we definitely want to keep this one on high watch. If it's below the trend line and it's below that 1558, it looks to be a better short for the crack of 15 back down towards around that 1360 level. Okay, so if we can't break the downtrend, we can't break back above 1558 resistance, and we see BBBY cracking 15 bucks, that's a fantastic short, in my opinion, back down towards around that 1350. On the flip side, we're breaking the downtrend, we're back above 1558 and holding above 1558. Definitely looks to be a good long opportunity today, back up towards around, once again, right around 1614 and then 17 bucks. And right now it's trying to break the downtrend. Right now it's trying to break that 1558. BBBY at this point in time, as we're breaking this level, is another top stock for today. All right, so BBBY definitely on watch, guys, as we're breaking the downtrend and we're breaking that 1558. We want to see that level now turn into support to see buyers move back in for the next leg up, right? MEGL, you guys know why this is a top stock. I think this stock still has a lot of great potential behind it. AMTD, definitely showing potential, but keep in mind, it likes to give a lot back. If you start to see weakness, you start to see more selling than buying, maybe that's a good idea to go ahead and get out of that trade, because you could probably expect to see this thing just go red today and then fade and fall. And then lastly, we have FRZA, okay? We're starting to fall below that 875 level. The stock is still on watch as long as it can hold above that 780 mark, okay? So still going to be watching FRZA. But right now, right out of the gate, I think MEGL is going to be our number one stock. I think BBBY could potentially be our number two stock, FRZA number three, and then AMTD number four. Again, CEMI on the back burner. If it sets up, I'll bring it to your attention. GBOX, back burner. But if it sets up, I'll definitely get you guys prepared, do some due diligence, and again, get you guys ready to rock and roll. All right, let's talk about the good old SPY and the good old Qs. The SPY got very close to its 200 SMA yesterday. We are due for a pullback, ladies and gentlemen. Do I think the pullback's going to start today? I don't know, but I would say probably not. And the reason for that is I do believe traders and algos are really trying to push this stock into the 200 SMA and into this massive downtrend. So not only do you have your 200-day moving average right there around that 431.70, right? It's right around 431.71. It's also the downtrend that goes back to the start of the year from when we actually started to sell on off. We bounced on up here in March, sold on off. Now we're back into that downtrend and into that 200 SMA. That's going to be a very strong level to break above. And do I think it's going to break both of those levels when it looks pretty exhausted, when we're overbought on the RSI, and we're due for a pullback to fill that gap at 412? I really don't believe we're just going to break with ease. I don't think we're just going to see it break the 200 SMA and break the downtrend and just continue to go straight up without any kind of pullback, especially to fill that gap. So I think today or tomorrow, we could potentially start to see that rejection off the 200 SMA. Start to see the rejection off that downtrend and start to see that much needed pullback. That could start to take place today into tomorrow, but I do believe we see that level hit before we start dropping on off. So today, here on the SPY, if we can hold above this 427.24, we can move back up to 429. If we ever see the SPY breaking yesterday's high of 429.40, we absolutely want to play calls up to that 200 SMA into that downtrend between 431 and 432. We do not want to be looking to short it. We do not want to be looking to go against the strength and against the trend. We want to trade this long. I would expect to see the SPY possibly hold 427.24, bounce off that level, open on up, eventually get a break over yesterday's highs and start working its way up to the 200-day moving average and that daily downtrend. But the market's going to do what the market wants to do. We just trade the opportunity. So we need to have a short plan in place as well. We have a long plan in place. Maybe we're buying off this level of support. Maybe we're going to add to our position for a break of that level of resistance and then take some profits at the 200 SMA. That's our long approach. That is our long plan. However, the market's going to do what the market wants to do, so you need to be prepared with a short plan as well. So if we see the SPY cracking that level of support and trading below support, not able to regain it and trade back above it, we absolutely want to think about playing puts down towards around 425.51. All right, we ever crack below 425.51, your next target would be 424 to the short side here on the SPY. So really, that 427.24 is going to be a make or break for the SPY. Either we bounce off that level, we're playing calls for the break over 429.41 up to the 200-day. That's where we want to get out and start to wait for the next best short opportunity to play some puts on down, right? But if we do crack support, we can't regain it, we're not trading back above it, and we actually start to see a pullback today, we want to play puts down to 425.50 and then down towards around 424. All right, that's going to be on the SPY. The Qs. Same thing. I do believe that the market is trying to move higher into that 200 SMA, which we're still pretty far away, right? The SPY is about 3 points away from the 200 SMA. With the Qs, we're about 10 points away from the 200 SMA. So we may see a little bit of a difference here with the Qs, but I still believe that's going to be your main level of resistance before you start to see the markets pull back a little bit. So support here on the Qs, 331.85. If we see 331.85 hold on up, we'll want to play calls back up to 333.57. We ever see that level break, right? You still have this nice big open window to the 200 SMA right around 342. All right, that's your long plan off 331.85 up to yesterday's highs. If it ever breaks yesterday's highs, you're just going to scale out along the way up towards around that 200 SMA. Probably not going to happen all at once today. You never know what could happen. The market's going to do what it wants to do. The flip side, you need to have a short plan as well. So if that level of support does not hold up on the Qs, 331.85, and you crack below it, you can't regain it, you're not trading above it. You want to play puts down to 330.59 and then down towards around 329.62. All right, so you got a short plan here on the Qs. You have a long plan on the Qs, and it really depends on what happens at this level of support, 331.85, depending on which way and which side of the trade you're taking. And then the same thing with the SPY, 427.24. It really depends on what happens at this 427.24, depending on what side of the trade you take when the market opens on up, guys. So you're all set, ready to rock and roll. Now, depending on what the market does is going to dictate how we trade the next three stocks, right? So if the SPY holds and we're playing calls, if the Qs hold and we're playing calls, we want to play calls on Amazon above the 200-day moving average of 145. We could really start to see a move. So if the markets are going to hold support, move on up to yesterday's highs and eventually break yesterday's highs and get close to that 200 SMA before pulling back, that would help Amazon get towards around that 150 level. So if we have a nice green day, all right, you guys are playing calls, but you like Amazon as well, you want to be looking to play calls on Amazon over that 200-day moving average. We could really start to see a lot of big time buying move on in, pushing Amazon up towards around that 149.83. But to the flip side, let's see the SPY and the Qs crack support. Let's say we have a pullback. We would want to short Amazon off that 200 SMA resistance back down towards around 142.50. You got about 2.5 points to the downside to the short, and you got about 4 to 5 points to the upside if the markets do move higher. But you have a long opportunity on Amazon. You have a short opportunity on Amazon. If we see the overall market have a nice, strong green day and Amazon breaks 145, expect to see a big time move potentially to that 149.80 there on Amazon. But again, have a short plan in place as well. And that short plan is the markets are fading on off. The markets are dropping. The markets are pulling back today. We're playing puts. Amazon's right at its 200 SMA. That's a key level of resistance. It'll correlate with the overall market and most likely pull back off that level as well. We want to definitely play puts on Amazon down to 142.50. So that's what we got on Amazon. Tesla is another make or break. We're right at a key level of resistance, 940. So if the overall market is holding support, moving on up, breaking resistance, and moving higher, closer to the 200 SMA, Tesla could absolutely break 940. And that's a very strong level of resistance here on Tesla. So if we can break 940 here on Tesla, guys, we have great potential to 970 on Tesla. The overall markets are having a good day. You break 940 on Tesla, you want to think about playing calls to 970. But to the flip side, markets are weak. They're falling, pulling back. We're playing puts. You want to think about shorting Tesla off that 940 for the pullback to its 200-day moving average. And the 200-day moving average on Tesla is right at that 911. So again, markets are selling off, looking weak. You're playing puts on the SPY and the Qs. You're also watching Tesla. It's getting rejected off 940. You want to play puts on Tesla back down to its 200-day moving average, right? So we have the Qs definitely on high watch for the small account. We have the SPY definitely on high watch for the small account. Amazon could be a great small account trade as well, guys. All right, the contracts are cheap. Nice tight spreads. Again, definitely something that would work for the small account here on Amazon. And then Tesla, definitely not the best stock for options to trade on the small account, but we have advanced options traders here inside of chat. Tesla is a fantastic stock to trade options on, and there's a lot of great opportunities today with Tesla as well. So definitely keep Tesla on high watch. We have great potential today, whether that's long or short. Amazon, same thing, great potential today, whether it's long or short. And the same thing applies with the SPY and the Qs. Definitely looking to be some great potential today, regardless of the direction, right? We have our plan. We have our levels marked up. We know exactly what we're waiting for. Now all we have to do is continue to build our plan, assess our position size, accept our risk, accept the plan that we built, simply wait for the stock to give you confirmation to enter. And then all you have to do is react and take advantage of what the market has to offer. Play with the market, not against it. Simply react and don't try to predict what's going to happen. Wait for the market to make a decision at this level of support, and that's going to give you a great idea what direction you're playing with the SPY, what direction you're playing with the Qs, and then how you could take advantage of Amazon and how you could take advantage of Tesla as well. Both two stocks that show great potential for today, guys. All right? So right now at this point in time, to start our day, the number one stock that we will be watching right out of the gate, team, is going to be MEGL. All right, above 20 bucks, it looks good. So let's get set, ready to rock and roll. We have 30 seconds to go. Again, MEGL is my number one stock to be watching out of the gates, followed by BBBY above that 1558, and then AMTD to see if we can pull back the 250 and hold that 250 level on up, and then eventually break the downtrend. Right, team? So we're all set, ready to rock and roll. Let's have an awesome day and let's make it happen. Right now, MEGL, a little bit of a washout long the 20. It cracks 20. It's coming down to that 1748 level here on MEGL. Right now, MEGL is one of our top stocks to be watching here above 20 bucks. BBBY, again, it broke the downtrend. It broke 1558. And it held 1558 beautifully. They're in pre-market, spiked up towards around 16 bucks. Still watching BBBY above that 1558 mark. MEGL, washout long right to 20. Nice little $1.50 pop to the upside there. Right now, MEGL is the one stock getting the best action towards it right here at the start of the day, guys. You have room to 22, and then you have some room up towards around 23.63 here on MEGL. $20 support. MEGL cracking 20. Let it come back down to 1750. Let it come back down to 1750 over on MEGL. Right now, watching BBBY above that 1558 mark. Looking to see if BBBY potentially hold that 1558 and get a nice little spike over 16. Breaking that 16 area, we can see 1620 and then $17 here on BBBY. Really liking that 1558 mark, guys. Couple attempts, couple opportunities to get involved at 1558. And there's your spike over 16. Scale out, lock in some profits around 1620. All right, 1620 was a level of resistance. That's a area that you want to be scaling out, locking in some profits. Again, guys, you're up 80 cents a share right now off that 1558 level. So do the right thing. Lock in some profits when you have them. So right now, BBBY has potential to $17. Support still at that 1558. Now that we broke above pre-market resistance, we could see 1590 turn into support, but still the absolute best level of support's down at 1558, guys. You broke the downtrend. You held above 1558 beautifully. The thing's up $1 a share right now at this point in time. Okay, BBBY is the #1 stock at this point in time. Still watching AMTD. I'm not forgetting about AMTD. AMTD is breaking on out, but BBBY is the most consistent here at this point in time, guys. There's 17 there on BBBY. You just hit your target, 17 bucks. Scale out, guys. That's $1.50 a share. Scale out a little bit more here at that level of resistance. Again, it was that $17 area. You're at $16.80. Don't be greedy over a couple of pennies here. Just literally hit $16.90 to the penny. Now it's due for a little bit of a pullback. Where could we see it pull back to? I would say right around like that 1590. I would say right around 1590 be a good little quick dip buy opportunity, but you still have the best of the best support down at that 1558. The Qs are holding support, guys. The Qs right now at 331.85, trying to have a nice bounce off support. Don't forget about the Qs off that 331.85. You have potential to 333.51. If you ever crack below that level of support, you'll see the Qs drop towards around 330.59. But definitely keep it on watch as the Qs are trying to hold on up above that support level. So right now, BBBY getting that much needed pullback. I would say 1592 on BBBY would be a fantastic little dip buy opportunity. Right around like that 1590, if it just dumps on down to 1590, grab a quick little dip buy. You do still have that better support level at that 1558. That would just be a little bit of a drop, 1590, right into that resistance level. Right now, BBBY 1590 could be a decent little dip buy. Give it about 10 cents of breathing room. So that level on the Qs did crack, guys. So now if you're looking at the Qs, look for a crack and retest. You just cracked 331.85 with a lot of selling volume, right? If you got in for the crack, you had a very, very, very nice 50-cent drop to the downside, okay? If you missed it, don't chase it. Wait for the retest. Let it bounce back up close to that 331.85, then enter your puts. Again, to really lessen your risk, wait for the retest. You still have potential to fade and fall down towards around that 330.59. You guys are watching the Qs right now for the crack of that level of support. That 1590 was a very shaky dip buy. You got about 10 cents out of it. If you got filled at 1590, you took a little bit of heat, but you just got about a 10 to 15 cent dip buy bounce out of BBBY off that 1590, guys. You took a little bit of heat, but it happened so quick that it regained 1590 almost instantaneously and did pop about 15 cents there for you guys. Those are dip buys. You're in and out quick. Comes down, you get filled, 10 to 15 cents. You're out, you're out, you're out. All right, so let's shift our focus to AMTD, guys. I know a lot of you are talking about AMTD. We were looking for AMTD to break this downtrend, but not drop below that 258. Never came down, didn't crack 258. Breaking the downtrend right up to our 330 level. I would expect a little bit of a pullback here off 330, and then we can curl back up for the break, right? So wait for a pullback, then wait for that U shape. When it starts to pull back and you start to see that U-shape form, that's when you want to get in off that level of support for the 330 break. Right now, AMTD is the number one. You had a nice dip buy opportunity on BBBY at 1590. If you missed the 1550 entry up to 17, you got a quick little 10 to 15 cent pop on the dip buy with BBBY. You had a nice little pop there on MEGL. Again, definitely tough, definitely challenging. BBBY was definitely a lot easier, a lot cleaner than MEGL. FRZA hasn't done anything for us, but right now AMTD is getting some fantastic action here to the upside. So we're looking to see how much lower we're going to pull back. I would say like 310-ish. If we can come back towards around like that 310, that would be fantastic. Or let the thing break 330, retest 330, and then we get long to 384. Starting to get your pullback here on AMTD. In like 310. That prior high. You could also see the 9 EMA holding the trend line. So we're watching the trend line. We're watching that 9 EMA. But we could come as low as 310 here on AMTD. You see that 310 hold at the lowest. We start to break 330. This thing could definitely rip on up towards around that 380 mark, guys. So AMTD on high watch. High watch AMTD. At the lowest, you're looking at a 310 dip buy. But we could see that 9 EMA try to hold the stock on up like it did right here. We do have this little trend line. Now, I don't like the trend line. It's very steep. But again, it could hold. It's something to keep on watch. It's definitely a level to keep on watch. If you see this holding and you start to push through 330, that could be the breakout that you guys are looking for that continuation up to 384. But at the lowest, I see a dip buy right around 310. So watching AMTD here above 310. So looking to see if AMTD is going to hold this 310 level. Maybe give us a nice little reversal opportunity here. So just sit back, be patient. Let's see if we get a nice little proper bounce here off that 310. You could be making an entry at 310, stops at 3, or right below 3. Looking for the cues to get that next leg on down here. We had that nice little retest. It is starting to pop back up just a little bit. Could be a little bit of a double bottom, but still watching the cues off that crack and retest of 331.85. Right now, it is bouncing pretty nice right off that low. A little bit of a double bottom there. Right now, you are holding that 310 on AMTD. So if you're looking to be a buyer at 310, you're a buyer. You know, I would say if you could breathe 20 cents down below that lower shadow, 290. You have potential back up to the highs. So you got about a 30-cent window of opportunity here. You crack 310, you might get a little bit of a bounce off 3, but if you crack 3, you're definitely coming below that lower shadow. Again, I'm not in on AMTD. I'm personally still sitting back and waiting to see what happens at 310 personally. If it does bounce on up, I missed the trade, but I would rather sit back and wait to see if this 310 is really going to hold on up for us. Right now, AMTD starting to crack that support level. One of the biggest reasons I wasn't willing to take the trade is because what we talked about in pre-market. The fact that the stock likes to spike on up out of the gate after a gap up and turn red. I know 310 support. You grabbed a 310 bounce. You know, you could have locked in a quick 5 cents, quick nickel. But again, I wanted to walk you guys through why I wasn't taking the trade. I'd want to be a little bit more patient to make sure 310 holds. And then again, what we discussed here on pre-market, the simple fact that the stock likes to spike on up, but it does like to give quite a bit back. So still watching AMTD around this 310 level. Still watching AMTD around that 310 level. And I am still watching the cues here for the crack and retest. You've come up about 3 times to that level of old support, new resistance, and it's just struggling a little bit. You start to break that level, you could see some great buying activity here on the cues to push this to that 333.50, but it is showing a little bit of weakness right now below that level of old support, new resistance. And the cues still have room to 330.59, and that's the next best level of support where you can expect to see a little bit of a bounce there over on the cues. So looking at the cues here off that crack and retest to see if it does start to open on up to the downside here over on QQQ. In the meantime, still watching AMTD here to see if AMTD is maybe going to regain that 310 and have a nice little pop to the upside. So let's still watch AMTD at this point in time and see if there's any opportunity. But like I said, I'm still watching the cues for that crack and retest, guys. All right, that 331.85, we cracked it, we retested it multiple times, and that's had a lot of my focus and a lot of my attention from 331.85 down to 330.58. About a point drop to the downside. You collect a full delta on that move, and your risk is a break back above that level of resistance. I love the cracks and retests. I like a good break and retest as well. Right now, the cues are starting to drop on down a little bit. You still have room to 330.58 here on QQQ. All right, so QQQ is a crack and a retest. Then it's failing. 330.59 is going to be the next level before you see a bigger bounce. We ever see a break of this downtrend, regardless of the 331.85 level, you ever see a break of this downtrend before coming down to that 330.59 target, you want to exit that position. You'll most likely squeeze above 331.85 and move higher. But right now, we're seeing a lot of weakness to the downside. Beautiful crack and retest right off that key level. Again, that was a make or break level that we were discussing in pre-market. Now we're starting to drop on off pretty nice here. Go ahead and lock in about half those profits on SQQQ. Scaling out here a little bit, getting paid along that drop. Again, SQQQ is an inverse ETF. So when the Qs drop, SQQQ moves to the upside. And right now we're just scaling out, locking in some profits along the way. Scaling out just a little bit more. Taking a little bit more. And we're going to go ahead and lock that up here. Just to go ahead and get back to a break even, a clean slate. Again, I had a small little loss on FRZA this morning in pre-market. I missed my dip buy on MEGL, but saw the cues here and definitely want to keep that on watch. Back to break even. Corey says he likes a good break and retest, like a little crack and retest. I like him too. And when you can, pair that crack and retest with something else, it's even better. So you can pair it with a downtrend. You can pair it with your VWAP, pair it with your 20 EMA that's really holding the stock down. When you can pair that crack and retest with other indicators that suggest resistance as well, and you have 3 or 4 different things that suggest resistance, that just puts the odds in your favor. This is why it's important to make sure you're getting prepared in the mornings, right? We said that was a key level at 331.85 on the Qs. Okay, if you ever crack that level, you want to go play puts. Don't chase it. Even said, don't chase it. Wait for the retest. You got 1, 2, 3 opportunities for a retest. Where was our target? 330.59. You just hit it. You just locked in about $1 here on the Qs, which you guys grabbed a full delta. Now, if you want to leave a runner on the table, right, your next level for the Qs to bounce off of, assuming 330.59 fails to hold as support, you do have room down to 329.62 there on the Qs. And that level on the SPY has not changed. It's still that 427.24. 427.24 on the SPY is that level that you want to crack on down below. So AMTD is looking very weak, team, at this point in time. Very, very weak here on AMTD, right? You failed to get back above 310. You're looking choppy. This really lines up with our analysis from this morning. You expect to see some great action out of the gate, right? You get these upper shadows, upper shadows, upper shadows, upper shadows. But then we turn red, we turn red, we turn red. Right now, we're still green on the day, but we don't look all that great at this point in time. Be very smart, be very patient with AMTD. Okay, CEMI is just dead. It's coming off that back burner watch list. I know some of you guys were discussing GBOX today, right? So GBOX is breaking that 166. You start to break above $2 here. You do have room to $2.73. So you start to break that $2 area here on GBOX. Could be a nice little small account trade, the 273, guys. All right, could be a nice little small account opportunity here with GBOX if we can see that nice break and retest above 2. So let's start building a plan here on GBOX for a possible small account trade. Again, typically with the small account, you're waiting about 10 to 15 minutes. Let the markets calm down. Let the volatility kind of move away a little bit. Stocks clean themselves up. You get a little bit of a sense of direction. That's when we start really planning for those small account trades, because a small account trade is more of that. You're really going to work with that trade for probably 20, 30, 40 minutes, etc. Right? You're really looking to take advantage of those big moves. So you really kind of sit back at the start of the day and you just start to really dissect these stocks. Which stock really shows the best potential for today? And that's where we want to be focused for those small accounts. GBOX is definitely looking good for a possible small account trade. So here in a moment, we're going to start building a plan, looking to see what we have. And if we have some opportunity, we're definitely going to take advantage of it. We have potential. Again, we break $2, say 230, and then 273 here on GBOX. AMTD just doesn't look great right now whatsoever. MEGL is looking pretty weak too. We're waiting for the SPY to possibly get that crack below 427.24 before we have an entry there. And looking to see if the Qs give us another entry today. Now that we're officially, 15 minutes into our day, it's definitely a great time to start thinking of small account trades, right? 15, 20 minutes, not really applying, our small account to anything. We're letting that volatility go away. We're letting the stock actually get a sense of direction, become a little bit more predictable. Again, we're stepping back at the start of the day from the small accounts, and then we start to progress into the small account trades closer to 10 o'clock. So right now, if we start to see some opportunities, these would be some great opportunities potentially for those small accounts, guys. Stir, very nice. Stir got a nice little crack and retest for over $200. Mr. Stir, way to make it happen, man. Way to come in, have a plan, simply react to the opportunity, and make it happen. Good stuff there. Very good stuff. Way to lock in some great profits. All right, so GBOX, we're going to wait to see if this thing pulls back to 166 and what it looks like, and see if there's any opportunity for a trade here on that small accounts. All right. So right now, what we're watching is the Qs. All right, so the Qs, we have this downtrend on the Qs. This would be coming up to the third point. We know that these are 50-50, right? 50% of the time they can break on the third point. But again, you're already playing the downtrend, so the trend's your friend, off that level of resistance. Not only is that a level of resistance, is that downtrend, but you're also looking at that prior level of support at 331.36. So wait for this candle to close on out. Whatever this candle does is going to determine where we could be heading to next on the Qs, right? So if we get a strong break like we're seeing here above that 331.36, we definitely want to be thinking, okay, we could be reversing. We could get a break back above 331.85. And if we do indeed get back above that 331.85, that's a sign of strength. We could definitely see the market go green here on the Qs and start to rally just a little bit higher on the Qs. Don't forget about the SPY, right? The SPY ever breaks and it's trading above your 429 level, you have great potential into the 430s. So don't forget about the SPY over 429. Okay, right now, the only thing we're watching is the Qs here. What is it going to do? Right around that 331.36. Are we going to hold that as support? We're going to see a bounce back above 331.85. If so, we're going to start thinking about playing calls to 333.50. Okay, that's about 2 points to the upside. Okay, we would go in and probably find a 333 or a 334 call option, right? So you'd probably come right here to a 334. Has a 32 delta. It's not more than 20% of the account. So we're already starting to pick and choose which Q calls we would go with. Most likely a 334, right? It's not more than 20% of a $500 account, which is one of the rules. Has a 32 delta. That's fantastic. And it's right in line with our expected target of that 333.50. If we start to see this confirmation, we start to see that opportunity, we would want to be trading the 334 call option that expires tomorrow here on the Qs for that move higher. Okay, so that's going to be a plan here on the Qs. Really want to see what we do here at this 331.36. And if we start to break that 331.85, that's definitely a sign of strength. You definitely start to see that move to that 333.50. So we got to wait a few more moments here and wait to see what the Qs are going to do. Okay, we're still waiting for GBOX to possibly set up for a small account trade at this point in time. Those are the top two right now, guys, right? Looking to see what the Qs are going to do. If we see a good opportunity, we already know we're going with a 334 call option, depending on how this sets on up. If not, we'll wait for another good setup, possibly to the short side. And the only other penny stock that's really doing something right now is BBBY. All right, the second it broke that level in pre-market, it's just been nonstop. Broke the downtrend, popped above 1558. It's just been nonstop since then, hitting highs of $18. You have room to 20. Going to readjust that, and I'm going to say you have room up towards around 1855 and then 20. So 1855 and then $20 there on BBBY. Qs are still dropping on off. Again, nothing yet. The only trade that we had were those puts off the crack in the retest. Other than that, still waiting for the next best opportunity to come to us and present itself. We're looking for a pullback entry here on BBBY. Your pullback entry is going to be back down between $16.90 and then that $17 level. Qs are still dropping on off very nicely at this point in time.